Now let's dive in to Saints schedule part 2, because we did kind of a live react yesterday, but we did not have the whole picture, and we didn't really have yet a chance to absorb the information. Look, from a pure winning percentage standpoint, the Saints schedule is hard. It is not the hardest, okay? Their opponents have a combined .528 win percentage, which is pretty damn good, right? That's tied for 7th best with the Raiders. But that's how it goes, right? When you finish second in your division, isn't it that you play all the other second-place teams, I think, in the same conference, right?
Yeah.
And then so when you pair that with the unlucky draw, like this is a bad time to draw the AFC North, right? Like you could have drawn them 3 years ago and probably been fine, but with now Joe Burrow making the Bengals good, I mean, the Steelers are always the Steelers, even when they don't have a quarterback. Yeah. The Ravens, obviously, and then the Browns, and maybe now Deshaun Watson, right? Like it's just a bad time to draw the AFC North as well. And so when you look, you have 7 teams on this schedule for the New Orleans Saints that made the playoffs last year, including both of the Super Bowl winning teams. And how about this, boys? How do we feel about this? We're going to bet on this right now. Vegas has the Saints with an over-under win total of 7.5. Now, Mari, you were at about 7 not long ago, so your instincts appear to be in line with the oracles out there in the desert out west. I know this is a tough draw, and we'll get into it. It's not just the opponent itself, it's how they lay out that really makes it tough. But if I was a betting man today, and I'm optimistic, so I take this for what it will, I would go over 7.5. Now 8, 9, I mean 8, yes, 9, 10, maybe, that's going to be a bit tougher, but I would go over 7.5. The defense will be too good.
I would think so too, but that is a tough schedule. Like you said, those first 3 games being in division is huge. If the Saints can at least get 2-1 right there, you're laying the foundation to possibly get there.
Bro, ye of little faith. 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5.
I don't think the Saints are going to win over 7.5 games.
No, I think they will. I would bet. I would. This is such a cop-out answer. I would say 9 and 7.
I mean, you're talking about
9 and 8.
You can't be 9 and 7 anymore. Yeah. You're talking about the AFC North. I mean, that is what it is. You got the AFC West.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you've got the best quarterback division. So unless you get the AFC South, like it's probably going to be.
Well, the AFC East hasn't always been bad in the past as well. I mean, they're not great right now.
You got Buffalo's
AFC's
really,
pretty strong
really good.
Right now, I guess, overall.
New England's going to be a solid squad.
Yeah, no, for
Miami's
sure.
a question mark, but has the ability to be a good team.
But yeah, so it's not the worst of
the Jets. The Jets.
It's not the worst of draws. This is true. The AFC West would be the only worst draw there, but so you're over 7.5 as well.
Oh yeah.
All right, then we're all gonna go ahead and Danny. Obviously, I'm sure you are over 7.5.
You could put that Sun
Saints are
gun
winning
on
at least 12 bucks.
Okay.
16 and he'd go
12 and 5,
over.
yeah, 12 and 5. Hell yeah, dude. So let's look at the most brutal part of this schedule, which is without a doubt weeks 6 through 13. Half a season of challenge here, Jake. 8 games in 50 days. No breaks, no buys. You will feature 7 playoff teams in those 8 games. You know what it reminds me of? You know when you go and play Mortal Kombat in the arcade back in the day and you got to climb the tower and you got to get all the way to the end, all the way to Shang Tsung at the top, right? AKA Tom Brady, the Soul Stealer, where you start with Burrow and the Bengals, Cardinals, Raiders, Ravens, Steelers, and then how about this 3-team finish? Rams, Niners, Buccaneers. Whew. And then after 14 weeks, you will finally get that bye. That is the stretch that is going to make or break this season.
I mean, somebody really at the NFL office hates the Saints because, I mean, these 2 games are brutal. They're at least at home, looking at Vegas and Baltimore. You got to go to Pittsburgh, one of the toughest places in the NFL to play. I mean, it is brutal, okay? Then you get the Rams at home, still Super Bowl champs. Then you got to go across the world to go to San Francisco. And then you got to go back on the road to Tampa Bay before you get that bye. Not to mention, you're already tired as hell before that bye comes because it comes so late. This stretch right here, from November the 13th until December the 5th, that's where you got to win 2 games.
Yeah, so that is Ravens, Steelers, Rams, Niners, Buccaneers. I mean, who's the only team out of these 8 that didn't make the playoffs? It's
Cardinals made it.
Okay, so who didn't make it? Was it the Ravens? Who didn't make it last year? all these feel like playoff teams. Like I know only seven made it.
Pittsburgh didn't make
I
it.
The
thought
Ravens didn't make
Pittsburgh,
it.
Ravens
No, the Ravens did.
The
Yeah,
Ravens
that's what I'm
not.
saying.
Pittsburgh
Okay.
had they 500 in them.
Yeah, remember they had the crazy
Yeah, or
final week
9
where if
and
they
8.
would have tied, then they wouldn't
Yeah.
have gotten in, but they did. There's no
The
tie.
Chargers screwed
yes,
it all up.
Yes, exactly. But the point of all of that is the team that didn't make the playoffs are the Baltimore Ravens featuring Lamar Jackson, right? So essentially 8 playoff games in 8 weeks. What can you do? Can you go 4-4?
And
If you can go 4-4 in this stretch, then your season is probably made.
yeah, and this block right here that you're probably not even thinking about, October the 16th through the 30th, you got Super Bowl appearance, obviously, Bengals, playoff team at the Cardinals, playoff team Vegas.
And look at the Cardinals turnaround. You play the Bengals on Sunday, turnaround Thursday at Arizona. And normally I feel like
Yeah.
those quick turnaround Thursday matchups, they like to do a divisional matchup because a lot of the kind of scouting hay is already in the barn. So that's a
yeah.
little
Again,
it's a little trolly.
somebody hates the Saints.
That's a little trolly to send them on the road to Arizona on a Thursday night.
I mean, dude, and they put him in Cleveland for Christmas Eve. I mean, what did they do to you? Nobody wants to spend Christmas Eve in Cleveland.
Yeah, Roger Payton's gone, dude. I thought you were.
And then
I thought
this
you
is
were
like
done
this is like the third season in a row. I think they're at Philadelphia, right?
hating. Is that another? Are they at Philly again?
Yeah, second to last game. Like I'm pretty sure it's the third season in a row.
It feels like it, dude. But how's that even possible from a scheduling perspective? I mean, I know they keep playing him because I guess both keep getting, finishing the same place in the division. But
It felt like they played the Bears like 4 straight years too a few years ago. They
Yeah.
kept putting them on the schedule, just
Yeah.
like they keep
Yeah,
putting
but
the Eagles on
that's
the
true.
schedule.
But not on the road, right?
Yeah, on the road. You don't remember like
Yeah,
early
they keep
2010s?
going to
They had
I
keep
remember
going
that.
to Chicago.
Either way, so when you look at that stretch, they have to start fast, right? And
That's everything. I think Mario might have said it. I mean, that is everything. Like Tampa Bay, I understand it's Tampa Bay, but you still have advantages over them with
Yeah.
the way that you play against that team. Carolina's going to be Carolina. Minnesota, we don't really know, but that game's at home. You got to win Minnesota and Seattle. You can't let Drew
Yeah.
Lock beat you here October the 9th at home.
Well, and then remember, actually, because I was thinking it was at home as well, but remember Minnesota, and I was thinking about this Vikings game in London. How appropriate from a thematic standpoint, Vikings versus the Saints on English soil. I mean, how many monasteries did Vikings raid on English soil back in the day? This is a religious versus pagan battle that's being celebrated. It's been going on 1,000 years, and it will once again go down, only this time in a $1.4 billion Tottenham Hotspur stadium. And even this is a little bit of a challenge. Now maybe we're being a little victim complex, a little woe is me. But think about the fact starting in Atlanta week 1. I love that, right? Because you want to smash Atlanta. That's fun. That is going to be the best Georgia Dome that they have all season, right? Like, they're not going to be any good. So the only week in which the fans are going to pack it out and be crazy is going to be week 1, when they still have hope. The hardcore can still convince themselves of good things coming, and the New Orleans Saints are coming to town. So it's like, yeah, you're even going to get in Atlanta at potentially max capacity, or the best that it can be this entire year. So yeah, those first 3 games, I mean, you got to go 3-2. It feels like, and really, I mean, I don't know, man. 4-1 may be more of, obviously, if you're trying to make the playoffs, what you're going to have to try and pull off. And it's not that it's easy. I mean, Seattle, not bad. Carolina's bad. Atlanta's bad. And then, like you said, Jake, the Vikings, that's just going to be weird being over there in England. But it's a tough one, man. It's tough. But it is. But let's also not lose sight of this. It is an awesome schedule as well. Like, there are some really marquee dome games.
Oh, you got 3 primetime games as well. I mean,
You got week 2 against the Bucks in the dome. Hell yeah, Tom Brady. You got week 6 in the dome against the Bengals. Hell yeah, Brady, Burrow, Shelvin, Moss.
thank you.
Week 11 in the dome versus the Rams. The no call. The Rams are back. I mean, so it is a schedule filled with epic matchups. It's also just filled with epic challenges. But guess what? You now have Tyrann Mathieu. Okay. If there's anybody that's not going to be scared of any of this, it is the Honey Badger. This defense, they will carry them. It will carry the New Orleans Saints through the gauntlet of this year.
No Sunday night games, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Actually,
No
I was
Sunday-
going to
This
say
is
yeah
Thursday
here, but
right
that's
here.
8:30 a.m.
Yeah.
I think it's like that's like the first time in like forever.
Yeah, they got the Monday night game against Tampa Bay at the end of the year.
They got Baltimore in the middle of Monday.
Yeah.
A few primetime games, but not as many as
Got
usual,
3.
to Danny's points.
Got 3.
You know, you can never get.
Three's pretty good
Yeah,
for a
and-
team that didn't win their division.
And you could still potentially get flexed. I mean, who knows
Usually
what
always get a Sunday night.
Sunday against the Niners end up looking like. Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. We don't care about playing on primetime. Just care about winning. Just go win. You know what I do like is if you're going in a question where you're working in a new head coach, and James is trying to take that next step. You try to work in Olave. I don't hate the easier portion of the schedule coming at the beginning, right?
Right.
Kind of that get your feet wet. Let's learn one another. How do we and there's no lesser, there's no easy. Nothing is easy in the NFL, obviously. That's why the league is so great. Everybody has hope. Every game ends within 7 points. Like it's a fantastic product. So there's nothing easy, but if you're trying to find your way as a team under a new head coach with a lot of new parts, yeah, starting with Falcons, Bucks, Panthers, Vikings, Seahawks is much friendlier than if they had to start with that Bengals, Cardinals, Raiders, Ravens, Steelers. So, yeah, they get a little bit of acclimation period before they fully enter the fray. Again, Jake, you talked about it yesterday, but how do you feel about 14 weeks before getting that bye?
Oh, that's terrible. It's the worst case scenario. Literally, it is, because that's the last week that you can have a bye. You're having a full season before you get it. It's too late. Like they shouldn't even have the ability to do that. Like you got to find a way to have one in the first, I say 10 weeks, but if you got to expand it because you added a game, 12 weeks at least. I mean, you are going through the gauntlet before you get there. And by the time you get there, by the time you get to December the 12th, your body is so beat to hell that it doesn't really matter. Like that bye week doesn't really help you. The bye week right here, between November 7th and the 13th, around that time, that helps you get healthy for the stretch run. There's no stretch run after your bye. You got 2 games.
Yeah. And the other,
What are you getting? Or 3.
And the other thing there too is it's that like at that point your season could be broken. Right? Like it's no like bye, let's regroup. Okay, we lost a couple we shouldn't have. It's okay, we have time, we're good. Like your season could be broken by that stretch. Or, great challenge, great opportunity could be made. If you go through that stretch and you go 5-3, all of a sudden people are going to talk about you like you are one of the best teams in the entirety of the NFL. So I can't wait, man. Like I said, it just sends your brain spinning with all of the potential combinations and challenges and storylines that you will witness therein, and the wild 6-month thrill ride that is the NFL football season. Big Cat pointed this out on Twitter, but see what the NFL did to the NBA? Since they got that Christmas Day games this year, normally a time which the NBA likes to, maybe it's the midweek or something. They want you to watch the NBA on Christmas, right? They got Heat Bucks, great matchup. That's going to be going up against Packers Dolphins. You got Lakers Nuggets, another great matchup. That's going to be going against Broncos Rams. You got the Suns against TBA, and that's going to be going up against Bucks Cardinals. It's just the NFL is taking over
got to
the
draft
entire
well
world.
this year.
Yeah. The NFL's taking over, and now they're taking over Christmas Day, and I can't lie, I'm very excited for it.
I know Mario's probably a little different. You might be a little bit. I'm not really worried about the NBA until the NFL's in at least the postseason.
I'll be interested to see if that changes.
I'll pay
a bit this
attention.
season.
I'll pay attention to the Pels, obviously, but like as far as like a marquee matchup between the Lakers and Nuggets.
No, and I don't watch much random NBA to begin with. Honestly, I really only watch Pelicans.
Yeah, it's usually true for me, especially during the football season when I'm kind of in the zone with broadcasting. But Christmas is an exception to the norm. Like Christmas in the NBA is just kind of tradition. I'm always going to make an effort to watch it.
But will you this year with these NFL games on?
Likely not.
Yeah, I know. And that's the NFL just laughing and flopping the shield out there on the table and saying, look at this.
Realistically, I'll try to find a way to watch
it. The ratings won't even be, the NBA's ratings won't be a speck compared to the NFL on that day. And again, it's one of the reasons why, like, when you see players that are like 9th guy on the bench, I was about to say a name, I'm not going to throw anybody at the bus, like the 9th guy on the bench making like $12 million guaranteed in the NBA, and it's like,
well, that's just a player pool thing, though, right? I mean, that's
like,
just
they're like,
But
the
that's just
starter on the NFL teams.
how many people in the practice squad
million.
though? How many? I mean, that's just
I mean,
numbers, right? I mean,
doesn't-
there's 12 to 15 on each NBA team.
There's numbers. There's 53 compared to 15. You know what there also is numbers in? Revenue.
Yeah, for sure. But it's still a way lower player pool, dude. That's why. I mean, that's why the ninth
'cause
player isn't getting
doesn't
$12
matter.
million a year out of the goodness of their heart.
The revenue's there. It's just the Players Association for the NFL is more worried about not having two-a-days than putting more money into the players' pockets.
Yeah, that sounds like someone who has suffered at the hands of the NFLPA. All right, so an exciting time to be a New Orleans Saints. When we get back, there's some Sean Payton rumors swirling. We'll touch on those, talk a little Miss, keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.